share?
Sure, he hasn't offered me any food. So I don't know if you know, but I don't know if you know this, but no, I'm good. But William and I are actually in a very small budget film made in this country called The Hobbit, which is all about Hobart, which is in Tasmania, and some small fairy people who are from there. And it was a great deal of fun. It was great to shoot here in Wellington and around the area. It was nice to actually be able to show the world New Zealand. But depressingly enough, we didn't actually get to shoot here in the Westpac Trust Stadium. So we just thought we'd take today, we've got a film crew here, we're going to shoot some reshoots for The Hobbit.
And we'd like you to help. We're going to do some pickups. It's what you call pickups.
That's actually not true. We're not going to do any of that. Do feel free to ask us some questions if you have any about what it was like to be an actor, or what it's like to be a Kiwi, what it's like to put your hand up. Because we know all about those things. And we'll bring the microphone to you, and be careful not to yell into it like I did, because it can be quite deafening.
Be careful not to yell into the microphone, because it can be deafening. Yes, your name please.
Well, I'm Michaela.
Michaela. Jed, Michaela has a question.
Well, it's mainly for you.
I'm riding away.
You're gonna take that down. Alright, quick.
So, did you have to do much research for your part now?
I did. We did heaps. In fact, it's funny you should say, because I was telling somebody about it the other day. Because I'm working in a play at the moment called Sherlock, Hound of the Baskervilles. Sherlock Holmes opens next week, and we have guns. And we did this incredible thing for Out of the Blue. We trained with the tactical response, elite, the top elite guys that protect like the Prime Minister. And there's only like 14 of them. And we went out to a place in the hills where there's a whole lot of old buildings, and we trained. It was amazing for a couple of days, doing exactly that. And so yes, we did quite a lot of research. I played a policeman a long time before. I hope the camera's getting all this. Jed Brophy, ladies and gentlemen. Armed offender. See these arms? They're offensive.
Oh, that's a terrible joke.
Gotta laugh. True. Yes, we did. It was fun. Okay, now, anybody like a bit of pumpkin? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, here we go. Take it off. Right, next question, please. Oh, yay! Here we go.
This one is for Jed. What's your favourite Peter Jackson role so far?
Done.
I have to admit that probably the first one, playing Void, a zombie in Brain Dead. I think it's the most fun I've had on any film shoot, because we really didn't know what we were doing. And I got to be cut in half, which was always fun, and the surgery was very painful, getting put back together. But it was, it was like 2.5 weeks, 2.5 months of being in a playground with Peter's amazing imagination. We had no CGI. In fact, the entire special effects budget didn't even pay for the coffee in all the rooms. It was a very small budget film, and a bunch of very young filmmakers, and Peter was sort of in his infancy and his genius. So, yeah, I think at the end of that I went, yeah, I could probably do it for it. It was great. But I don't ever need to be attacked by the other zombies ever again. So if any of you are dressing up as zombies and wanting to attack someone, attack William, because he's never been attacked by a zombie before. But yeah, good question. Thank you. See, now that's the level of questions we need. So if you have a question that's not quite up to that, then maybe don't ask it. What's that? Okay. Well, you've got quite a lot of people who actually are grading you here, which is good. I give her an A+ for her homework.
But now you have to ask us another question. My favourite scene in the Hobbit film so far has yet to be seen. Hopefully in the extended version of the third film. So, but we do have our favourite. Yours, Jed?
Well, we haven't filmed my favourite scene yet. The Ori Dori Nori story. Ori Dori Nori covered in glory story. I think, for me, the most fun was the barrel scene. But I think my favourite scene is still back in because that's when we realised they couldn't fire us. We're actually going to be on the phone. Yeah, I know. Shouldn't speak too soon. Hang on. Hi Pete, yeah. What, I'm fired? But yeah, no, it was a great scene to do because we were all there and we're all in character and the real Gandalf was there and the real Bilbo was there and we were starting this amazing journey. It was very exciting. Someone other than Michaela, please.
If you would ever retire, like in Middle Earth, as a dwarf maybe, where would you retire? Where would you live?
You mean as in a place from Middle Earth or a real place? Yeah, I grew up quite near Mount Doom, a place called Taihape, which is a small farming community. So I'd probably retire there because Mount Doom's got its own fire, it's quite warm. You can get rid of stuff there like old rings, old golems that you might be having hang around and part of the furniture. So I'd probably go there because it's a beautiful part of the country. And where I grew up is still virtually unexplored because our family has such a mean reputation. The dwarves of Brophy are terrible people. That's right, I mean, apart from that, probably Paradise down in Glenorchy, down in Queenstown, where the Bard's house is. I mean, Bjorn's house, Bayon, Boyon, Bjarn, Barn, depending on who you talk to.
I would renovate Erebor. Because Erebor's quite nice there, really, it's big, it's a bit drafty, but knock a few walls out, put a nice fire, some nice big fireplaces in, it would be fantastic, and then have everybody over for a big party, and give everybody a bit of gold. That's where I'd live. Next question, yeah, it's his place. Next question, oh, here we go. There we are, and there's a little cake, because I'm sharing.
I'm wondering what your favourite memories from attending New Zealand Drama School.
Oh, there were so many. There were so many. I was terrible. I was terribly young. I went when I was 16. Oh, not the whole thing! That's got to go around everybody. Just have a bite and pass it on. And the person right up the back will get the really yummy bit with a bit of spit on it. All right. Oh, yes, we had so many. But I went too young. I went when I was 16. I lied. Don't tell them. I actually waited because I was silly and I was from a small town and it was a stupid thing to do. I just put on the form and then I had to live with a lie for months. That I was 17, but really I was 16, which is far too young to go to drama school. And then when I was about 6 months in, I told them, because I thought I'd got far enough for them not to kick me out. I think I came close to getting kicked out, but I managed to get through. So there you go, that's my story.
Great story. Next question. Yes, I met you yesterday.
Could you please tell us about your experience as
Yes, that was a very interesting experience. I don't know if you know this about Peter Jackson, but he likes to put people through the ringer so you don't have to act. So he really tried to cook us that day. So they had this big skewer that they put all the dwarves on that were on the big rotunda, and we had to go on one at a time because we'd be bolted onto it. We had these harnesses with a big steel brace at the back that they could then screw onto this big log thing.
We were bolted onto it.
Yeah, bolted onto it, yeah. Like with a Ramsey gun, bung, bung, bung. And I think we had to go on one at a time. I think Adam Brown was the first to go. And then they kind of packed us around that, and then it was fine when it was going slowly, but it got faster and faster. And Peter just let it go all day, basically. And we all got quite ill feeling, like really quite dizzy. They had this big barrel off to the side that I think the fish ended up in, but it got filled up with other stuff first. And yeah, we were all quite dizzy when we got off it. Mainly from the smoke, but also just from the constant kind of tour around like this. Peter has this great thing where he says one more, but what he really means is 40 more takes. He just likes to keep shooting. He's probably still shooting now. We just left him to it. It's like, Pete, we've got to go and do other jobs. He's like, oh, it's all right, keep going. Yeah, we're going to make the Hobbit 5. Yeah, don't worry. Probably is. But yeah, so it was an interesting experience, and I don't ever want to do it again.
Yes. Next question. I agree. I agree with everything he said. Oh. No, gotta go back.
Hi.
Morning. Did you have a late night? How was the pub crawl? It was wet, wasn't it?
How is it acting against the having nothing there in the troll scene?
Well, which one? Being a troll? It was fun, you get used to it. Motion captures, we did a few different things. First, we did stuff where we're up against a green screen and you do actually have to use all your actor's imagination. But Peter was very good at explaining things. You know, he would say Smaug is like a jumbo jet. We go, oh my God, a jumbo jet! But green screen acting it's an interesting discipline. But motion capture is what we did with the trolls, where we dress in the suits with lights all over them and we have a camera here. And it's fun to play because you actually, Jed's done a lot too. You get to actually play with your other actors, so you're not just, you actually play the scene for real and you do the voice and you do all the movements and then they put the character around you. I hope I answered that question. I will go off topic.
When we were fighting the trolls, which is I think what you mean, they had these stunties with these huge kind of rubber legs that they would hold in them. We would attack the leg or the toenail or the fingernail or the whisker. And yeah, so we were beating lots of stunties dressed in green.
And also huge green.
Yeah, big like rubber pillars that we were smashing. So yes, to answer the question properly.
Mine was still fun.
I'm going to go and ask the man with the sword had a question. It's a very heavy sword. If he keeps putting it up, he's going to lose his arm. Nice hairy chest.
You can ruffle it gently if you like. Do you guys have any kind of strange...
Good. There's a strange story in itself.
Do you guys have any kind of strange headcanons about your characters? Things that you believe happened to them that they think that didn't make it good
Definitely. I thought, for some reason, I thought that Nori went to Moria with Ori and Dory, but it turned out he actually went to the Iron Hills with Dane and Gloin to start their own hairdressing salon. I also have this headcanon that there's going to be a fourth film called The Ori Dory Gory Story, but apparently not, even though it's in my contract. No, it was very hard to actually make any kind of decisions about our characters, given that I think Nori's only mentioned once in the book. So it was very hard to make any headcanon decisions about what might have been happened, apart from all of them. I mean, I think probably we all had these headcanons that we were going to be exceptionally brave and really good looking, but then when we saw the concept art, obviously that was never going to happen. Good question though. I didn't even know what a headcanon was until last year. I thought it was like a gun you wore on your head. Like, headcanon, oh, that's a bit dangerous. But apparently it's a whole thing.
I thought it was the head cannon. So instead of the second guy, it was the head cannon. Biffa went home at the end of the story. He can talk normally. He's a witty, funny guy. He makes toys. And he meets a lovely dwarf lady. They settle down and they have a happy family ever after. And the next film is by Disney. Biffa meets Bambi. Next question. Right at the back. Oh, I bet you wouldn't. Here we go. Oh, hello. What's your name? Say it in here. What's your name?
Oliver.
Oliver. Never before has a boy asked for more.
What characters did you play?
I played a troll called Tom. Nothing wrong with a bit of raw dwarf. Nice and crunchy. And I played a character called Biffa who speaks only in ancient dwarvish. Ik Theodor Sukazar. Ik Friedizun Omra. Biffa.
And what that means is, that's a very good question. Yes, who's next? Who can follow that? Oh, I'll come back to you. New question.
Where was your favourite location to shoot it at?
Well, that's a hard one because they're all so amazing. I think the Pelorus River, for me, because we were very hot and heavy running around in those suits, especially doing Scene 88, which is still going. I was telling people the other day that some of those stunties haven't been told that cut has happened yet, they're still running. But we were actually in the water in wetsuits, and it was really nice to actually be cooled off. And also, it was like getting paid to be on a Disney ride. Not Disney, a Warner's ride. Sorry, Warner's. Disney, no. Warner's, yes. Disney, no. Warner's, yes. Like a Warner's Disney ride. How confusing is that? Not only in the river, but also out at Trentham where they made a river. But yeah, the Dolores River was a beautiful place, and it was a really cool and exciting thing to do, wasn't it? You don't need to answer that.
Oh, sorry. It's working now. Yes, in the river was incredible. It was the best fun ever. And we just had to do nothing but float. Well, it was great. And then when we did it in the studio, they made a river in the studio. It was just incredible, and it whirled round and round and round. And they warmed the water up for us. And people did stuff in the water. Yeah. How they warmed the water, Jed. Yeah. How did they warm that water?
I don't know, I just know that I didn't get out all day of the water. Just saying.
Another coffee? Yes! I'll have one.
We really felt sorry for Martin because he had to be actually in the water and under the water. And then we told him, how they warm the water. It was a bit disgusting. Next question, good question. Yes, back over here.
If you could change one thing in the Hobbit, what would that be?
No elves.
And more dwarves.
Yeah, it is a bit of a bone of contention. We don't really like the fact that Legolas the brave, came and saved us. I don't think the dwarves like being saved by the pointies very much. So that would be one thing I think. Across the group of dwarves, I think that would be one thing that we'd love to change. Not that I don't love elves, because I played one. I played an elf, I played a drag elf in Lord of the Rings. Good, true story, my sister got a job as a riding elf, didn't turn up. I was there looking after my son, who plays Aragorn and Arwen's future prince son in the film. And they said, you've got to wear your sister's costume, so you're a lady elf all day. So with my dark eyebrows, I had this beautiful long wig and this lovely lacy costume. But I hated it. It was terrible. A terrible thing. But it was a really nice lacy costume. Wish I got to keep it.
Did you actually have to act feminine as riding the horse? We kind of like hair flowing in the wind and riding like that? Or did you ride like a bloke?
Suck your cheekbones and do this. Like that. They ride floaty and girly. Do they? Orlando, apparently you ride floaty and girly.
Don't tell them I said that!
They do, you're quite right.
Here we go. Excuse me.
Jed.
Right, forget it. Next question.
What was your favourite thing to do in the actual Lord of the Rings trilogy?
The most exciting thing I had to do was being one of the Black Riders. That was the most dangerous and the most exciting thing I've ever done, because the armour that we had on our shoes was so big they had to jam our feet in the stirrups, so once we were on we couldn't get off. But we galloped every day, all day for 6 weeks, just in and out of trees and galloping. It was the most amazing, thrilling, scary, exciting, never to be done again thing. And it probably won't ever get done again in this country, but it was. We didn't really have a horse department when we started on that film, so we kind of built a horse department from scratch, and it was great to be a part of that horse department and train on the horses. But yeah, that was a very exciting moment in time and quite historical for this country as well. So yeah, and then being all those other orcs was great, but that's my lasting impression of that film was just praying before every take that we'd get through it. Basically, we couldn't see it. The hoods came out to here, and then we had a black gauze covering our face. So at full gallop I could see William, but if that's a tree, that's not a lot of time to break and to weave, so we had to trust that the horses kind of knew what they were doing as well. But yeah, really cool. Yes. Oh, look, there we go.
Because you guys work with a lot of fish and destinations. If you you guys touched a fish ever since, or?
We all had to adopt one of those fish, actually. It would have been terrible to try and put them back in the sea after we had them. Half the fish were real and half the fish were props, but the real fish had been there for quite some time. But no, I mean, I still like eating fish, but I would never eat some of the fish we met. They were very rude and didn't really like us much at all.
What about Brian? You know, that one that you adopted. You know, Brian. Little white, was about this big.
We ate Brian.
I went into the barrels with the fish. I mean, that's what Jed said earlier about Peter Jackson keeping it real. Who in the world puts a real person in a barrel and then pours real fish all over their head, right till their head are covered up? What a maniac! Oh, sorry. Sorry, I've just been digitally erased from the films. No, it was incredible actually, and it was just the most amazing experience. Just, has anybody here had that happen to them? See what I mean? Next question. Fish. Please, no fish questions. No fish questions.
What was it like having to run around and do action stuff in the Drawers costume?
It was like that.
It was like you could not lift your arm. Well, the funny thing is, the costumes were as hot and as heavy as hell, and it was tough as anything. But as soon as Peter Jackson said action, we just forgot all about that, didn't we?
Yeah, we had 8 weeks. We had a boot camp. We were lucky enough to do 8 weeks of training where we'd go to the gym for an hour and a half, then we'd go to movement training for an hour and a half, then we'd do stunts for an hour and a half, and we'd do horse riding. So at the end of 8 weeks, we were as fit as we'd probably ever be in our lives. And if we hadn't have done that, we simply wouldn't have got through. It was really, really tough. On one day when we were on the wet set, I went and weighed myself before we shot, and then I weighed myself afterwards, and my costume alone was 28 kilograms. So carrying that around all day, you know, I used to have tiny spindly legs, but my legs were huge by the end of it. I've got rid of them now, I trained them out. Where's your made me some new ones? But yeah, they were really super huge. I couldn't even get on a bus, just so muscly. But you know, it was really tough. They had a special cooling suit that we wore that they built for Formula 1 drivers. Those Formula 1 drivers are very hot because we stole them all. And they used to put it straight on our skin and then pump ice cold water to kind of cool us down between shots. Those of us that needed them, I didn't.
No, yes, Jed's right. We stopped actually, being quite honest, we stopped wearing those after a while, some of us, because it was such a shock to your body because you're so incredibly hot. And then they pump freezing cold water around you, and then you go and shoot again, and you just get hot again straight away. And we sort of thought maybe we should just deal with it. But the funny thing is, it's just an acting thing. You know what Jed was saying about those costumes, you know, for me on that wet day, I could barely stand. And then Peter Jackson says, action, he says, you've got to run up that cliff. But you don't say, oh, excuse me, no, can't run up the cliff, sorry. Sorry, costume's too heavy. I'm just going to sit here, okay? I'll sit this one out. No, you don't. You run up that bloody cliff and you run, I'm fine. Let's do it again.
The worst day was the Goblin Caves. That was the day when the goblins were fainting from the heat, and we were having to pick the goblins up off the ground and make them menace us.
Slap them around.
They were just like... If you have a look, you'll see the goblins doing that a lot. We go, stop hitting me. And literally it was, by the end of the day, there was only... Most of the stunties and W guys out. There was me and Richard and Graham and Martin left, and Richard nearly fainted when he walked off set. It was so hot. And then Pete came and saw me lying on the ground. He said, Gee, what's wrong? I said, it's really hot. And he went, we'll turn the air conditioning on tomorrow. Wow, why didn't we think of that? So yeah, that was the worst day. Good questions.
Hello, I'm coming over. What's your name?
Kim.
Hello, Jen. How are you? Jim. Jim! Do you want to come over here and ask a question? Just for fun. Okay. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to stand up here. This is Jim, ladies and gentlemen. Warm hand. For being so brave.
Why does it Ford have to get eaten by the blacks?
Well, it's because it's based on a book. they kind of had to stick to the rules of what happened in the book. That, and in the book, you know, Thorin he doesn't make it back on the journey, so we had to follow the rules of what the book had in there in terms of what happened to Thorin. It was very sad though. But the good thing is, it was actually just a bad injury and he's okay now. I saw him the other day and he's actually fine. It's a bit sore, but he's okay. They got the plaster off and he's better now.
It got better. Okay. Do you have any other questions? You know, you're fantastic for coming out here and asking us a question. Well, how old are you?
7.
7. I'm going to lift you down now, okay?
Yeah, follow that question up if you dare. Okay. I'm going to go down the back.
Come and stand on the chair.
How old are you, young man?
6.
You're very mature.
I have a question from my 6-year-old. How did you make the Hobbit's feet so big?
Good question. There's a great place out in Miramar called Weta, and they have a silicon mould out there, and they made these silicon feet, and that were bigger than his feet, that made his feet look bigger, so he was able to put them on like slippers and walk around in them. And he was actually very naughty, Martin. He used to play table tennis and wreck them, and they'd have to find new ones. But if you go out there to Weta, if you ever get to do a tour, they'll show you how they made the feet. You can say that I told you that, and I'll have to do it. That's a good question from both the young 6-year-old and the slightly older one. That's great. Next question. See how it's very deep. Next question. There's a new person over here, and a new one here. Right, so. Hello.
What would your dream roles be to play in a film or on stage?
I just want to do a western. I've been saying it my whole career, thinking that someone would be silly enough to cast me in a western, but I really want to. I just play the horse. I don't care. Even the saddle, maybe even just the stirrup, maybe the gun, maybe a bullet. I don't care. A cactus. Great as a cactus, but just any western. It can even be a terrible western. Maybe not aliens and cowboys or something, because that was truly important. But sorry, whoever was in that. Not anyone here. No, it's okay. But yeah, a western. So like a good guy who turns into a bad guy. Gets the girl, becomes a good guy again, gets trampled by a horse, survives and then gets shot to death by Indians maybe. Something like that. Just, you know, like a character with highs and lows. How about you, Will?
I've been in a western. It was as fun as hell. I shot 7 people. I rode horses very, very badly. Got embarrassing in front of Jed, who is a consummate horseman. I pretended I could ride horses and then they had to double me for the whole thing. But I got to shoot people, I got in a bar fight, I got thrown off a cliff, I did all the drag behind a horse, all the western things. It was fun. But I'm playing Sherlock Holmes at the moment, and that is a dream role. Getting to have a go at Sherlock, loving it every second that opens. And this is not a plug, but it opens next Saturday night, Saturday week, not tonight, at the Circuit Theatre on the waterfront. It's not a plug though. And I'd love to be a Bond villain. That would be a dream, a Bond villain.
I'd like to do the soundtrack. Just the soundtrack. Just follow Bond around and every time he's on screen just go. See, I could do that. That'd be great. Great question. Slightly depressing for me. Still a good question. Yes, down the front. You were going to ask a question.
Is there any chance we could get you guys to sing?
It's tricky, yeah, it's
Sing if you help. Well, shall we leave the stage? She knows everything. Okay, please.
Far over the misty mountains go, to dungeons deep and caverns low. We must away ere break of day to find our lost, forgotten gold.
trees like torches.
Blaze with light.
That's not the version of the
We've been practicing that all weekend. We've never done that before, Jed.
Usually we're probably going to get told off because we kind of have an agreement that there has to be at least a quorum, which I think is 3 people. It's 4 people. Okay, I was just seeing if anyone knew what a quorum was. I only found that out yesterday. Oh, don't point that bow at... Oh, no, ooh. Ooh, danger, danger, weapon. Sorry, just wanted to draw attention to your lovely costume. Man in the hat, you go.
Man in the hat. Oh my God, where is he?
What's the best prop you've managed to take home with you from the movie?
My spear, my boar spear. It's on the wall in case anybody comes around to get my daughter.
Where to start? I'm a notorious thiever of props. In fact, I don't think Pete can shoot any more films because I've got all the props. No, I got 48 pieces of gold, a couple of candelabra, some salt and pepper shakers, a couple of ropes, a couple of weapons. Please don't film this. Please don't bring anyone and tell them. Yeah. We all got to keep our weapons, our primary weapons. Peter gave them all to us at the end of filming, which was kind of cool. And they're kind of licensed with a name. We're not really allowed to sell them or travel with them. That's true. So yeah, no, that was it. No, good. Cool. Next question. Whoa. Hang on a minute. Are you the real 6-year-old? Excellent. What's your name? Louie, what's your question?
What sort of motion did you make in the movie?
What sort of motion? Well, we had the special dwarf way of walking. Is that the kind of thing you mean? No.
78 frames.
Oh, it was shot in 3D at 48 frames. Is that what you mean? Yeah, that's what we did, 48 frames. I mean, most people don't know that kind of technological knowledge. A lot of people here are shaking their heads going, how does he know that stuff? But yeah, we shot at 48 frames per second, which is, it's a slightly, usually we shoot at 25 frames per second or 24 frames per second. Although I think James Cameron wants to shoot in 72 frames per second, which means that Peter will shoot at 144 frames per second. Someone else will shoot at 288 frames per second. What does your camera shoot at? Is that 24 frames per second? 25, there you go, that's kind of normal. So it means it was shot a lot faster or a lot slower, depending on who you talk to. And it kind of gives it that very crisp look, makes it look kind of hyper-real. And then shooting in 3D obviously was a different thing again. That's not a speed, is it, 3D? Although in my car I've got D, I think, which is D, and then maybe it has 3D for super drive. Who knows? But that's a very good question and a very hard question to answer. Please, no more questions like that.
Because he can't answer it. Apart from that fantastic question. Woo! Another question? Down the back. My turn. Quickly. Here we go.
So we're doing everything on green screen and in the studio. What's it like when you actually get to see the finished movie with all the special effects built into it?
That's a fantastic question, because it is absolutely astounding, because you finally see what you were looking at. But also, it means that even though we were there on the day, there's things that we haven't experienced yet, and then we get to experience them.
Yeah, it is. We got to see it before anyone else in the world. We had a special preview before they had the premiere here, and it is very nerve-wracking actually. A, am I still in it? B, am I cool? The answer, of course, is no. And C, is the movie actually as good as we expected it to be when we were working on it? And it is one of those things where an awful lot of what we did was Peter describing stuff to us, you know, especially running away from the dragon. He's up there and there. And he's also up there, he's really that big, and you're kind of going, really? I remember someone asked Graham, what are you going to do? Hey, what are you going to imagine the dragon? He said, I'm going to imagine a baby with a full nappy. That's what truly terrified him. And he said to me, what are you going to imagine? I said, I'm going to imagine a really big dragon. It's kind of that's the job. But it was that thing where you had to use your imagination, and you really didn't get a sense of what it was, the scale of what it was going to be like until we saw it. We were blown away by how big things were, especially the trolls, for instance, the dragon and anything, and Azog was huge as well. You know, so we spent a lot of time looking up through our eyebrows at things that were going to be much bigger than us. But it was, I guess like for you guys, it was an incredibly trepidous thing. Is it going to be okay? Is it going to be great? Is it going to be as good as Lord of the Rings? And of course it is. But yeah, it was very nerve-wracking, wasn't it?
It totally was. Filmmaking is like, the best way I could describe it is like a jigsaw puzzle. And you're part of the jigsaw puzzle, and the green screen is part of the jigsaw puzzle. And to finally go into the theatre and see the jigsaw all put together, and your bit is in there, it's an amazing experience.
Now, we've only got a couple of minutes left, so before we do finish, we have a very special presentation to give to a very special person here. It is actually their birthday, or it was their birthday, or it could be their birthday again next year, if they're lucky. And so, without further ado, we'd like to ask the lovely, probably one of our biggest Uber fans actually, she travels the world following me, and occasionally she sees William as well. Kate, if you'd like to come up here. And we'll all sing a happy birthday, so I'll give you the note. This is the note. Maybe a bit lower.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kate Malone. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kate. I can't remember. Happy birthday to you. And here we are, we'd like to present you with this box. And one day you'll get something to put in it.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
It's real. Thank you, Kate. Thank you for being such a wonderful fan.
Are you Philly or Kelly? I'm sorry. I actually know. Sorry, Dean. Sorry, Dean. Happy birthday. Well done to your wonderful friends who set this up. Well done, guys. Just so you know, my birthday's on the 29th of October. Okay? Halloween, so just so that you know. Alright?
Money's fine. You know, don't worry about presents. Just, you know, cash. I'll give you, I'll give you my account number. 23rd of May. Thank you. Thank you, Kate. Listen, we'd like to thank everybody for having us. You've been a fantastic audience. Thank you. And please come and see. This is not a plug. Hound of the Baskervilles. Saturday week, opening. Come and see me at the table. I'll give you a concession.
My next film, he came in a box.
Ooh, thank you, Mark. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
And we've still got food left. Fantastic. See you next time. Oh, you can come and grab one of these if you want.